Well, Michigan loses at Oklahoma. I'll be honest, they got out toughed. And I'm not saying Michigan's soft. I was that impressed with Oklahoma. We'll break it all down. Locked on Big Ten Live starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten Live here late on a Saturday night going into a Sunday morning, and we want to welcome you aboard here. I'm Craig Sheeman, 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer, and I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And we invite you to subscribe if you're brand new to us. If you've just discovered us, go ahead and subscribe. We also ask you to share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten as well, because that really helps us out as well. We'll get to your live comments real time. I see them popping up and populating right now. That'll give you my reaction as well. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is here. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. So, Michigan on the road, Oklahoma, tough game, punchy in the mouth game. We'll have the rest of the Big Ten. We had all 18 teams going between Friday and all day Saturday. Some games going final as we speak right now around the Big Ten. We'll get to all that in due time, and then we'll have our first look ahead to week 3 next weekend. But first, Michigan goes on the road to Oklahoma, Coach Jerome Moore's alma mater. And right away, you can kind of get a feel. John Mateer, if you've never really seen him play, the game you saw tonight, that's the game he plays. He's tough. He can run. He can throw. And just a perfect quarterback for that offense over there at Oklahoma. Early on, you could tell they wanted to hit the back end of the Michigan defense. Couple of long passes on the first drive. They had the 31-yarder there to Jaron Kanak, who had a great game. The 21-yarder to Deion Burks, who is from Michigan, and Michigan did not recruit him. He went to Purdue first and then transferred to Oklahoma, so he played with a chip on his shoulder. He was motivated here tonight. You could see that in closer to the line of scrimmage, I thought Michigan actually played pretty well, defending the screen well, stuffing some runs inside. But anytime that John Mateer wanted to go over the linebackers, anything in the 20-yard range, they were effective all night long, I thought. But anyway, Deion Burks had that 9-yard shuttle pass reception for a touchdown. We're 5 minutes in the game on the opening drive. Oklahoma is up 7-0 over Michigan. 12 plays, 75 yards. I mean, Oklahoma just smashed Michigan with some long drives. They won the battle of the line of scrimmage, and Michigan fan doesn't see that very often. Big Ten fans don't see that very often. But Oklahoma out Michigan in the trenches in this game here. BRYCE Underwood got out there. Look, I'll say this about BRYCE Underwood. The explosiveness is not there, but as far as big plays, I don't know if he has that many weapons. He does look unflappable, though. He was calm. That place was loud all night, and he just turned 18. He didn't look like it. So I remember the early play in the Michigan's first drive where Samaj Morgan went into motion on the right side, turned around, boom, right there, 19-yard play. Love seeing that. The screen on third down, though, 3rd and 4, it got stuffed. A lot of stuffing, both sides, really. And then Michigan had to punt down to the 6-yard line. So Oklahoma gets the ball for the second time, and John Mateer had a 34-yard pass completion. Again, going over the top, 20-plus yards. They were able to do it, I thought, effectively all night long. And he hit Deion Burks on third down. There was Isaiah Satanga, who he took his eye off the ball. He missed it. That was a break for Michigan, and they had to punt. So Michigan gets the ball back. There was a nice throw and catch to Donovan McCulley, the transfer from Indiana, for 38 yards. But then that drive stalled, and Michigan had to punt. It was a touchback, so the net yardage wasn't that great. Oklahoma winding down the first quarter. They got the first down. The 18-yard pass play to Keontae Lewis. John Mateer's next pass was intercepted, though. It sailed on. The receiver was open. Sailed the pass on him. It was one of the few bad passes he made on the night. and TJ Metcalf gets the interception at the Michigan 40. So it's still 7-0. Michigan has the ball. At this point, at the end of the first quarter, Oklahoma has 131 yards at this point. That's a lot. The Michigan drive, we flip sides. It goes to the second quarter. It stalls. There was a play there where Samaj Morgan looked a little wobbly. They had to check him out, but he came back into the game later on, so I guess he was okay. Oklahoma with the ball. Now, this is early second quarter on third down. Michigan gets a sack of Mateer. It was Cole Sullivan. There's a punt. Samaj Morgan back in the game at this point after it looked like he got dinged in the head. Fair catch, but he's back in the game. Then Michigan got a lot of help because they were really stalling a lot here at this point. They're at the 14-yard line. They get stuffed at the line of scrimmage. They're being very conservative at this point. Of course, they're back by their own goal line with a freshman quarterback. They're just running between the tackles. They get stuffed on third down. There's no gaps. The Oklahoma defensive line was fantastic. But they punt it to midfield, not a particularly good punt. And there's a flag on Oklahoma for roughing the punter. So 15 yards, first down, Michigan keeps the ball. They resume the drive at the 31-yard line. They get a big break at this point. Then there was defensive holding on a nose guard. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Everybody's grabbing everybody at the line of scrimmage. I was a little surprised that they called that play, but it's automatic first down, and now Michigan's at the 43-yard line. So Michigan had struggled all the way to this point of the game, but Oklahoma's helping them out here. Bad news, it looked like Giovanni El-Hadi got his leg, the left guard, got his leg rolled up. He did not return. He's co-captain with 45 games of experience. That's going to be a big blow to Michigan. If that injury is serious, we'll obviously find more out by Monday. BRYCE Underwood gets to the 22 with the 25-yard pass to Channing Goodwin. And there was an offensive pass interference that got waved off. I think they got a break on that deal. Underwood then, that's the play that Underwood and Justice Haynes from the transfer from Alabama, they were kind of arguing about something. I'm not sure what. I don't know if it was pass protection or what. But then they have to settle for a field goal. Dominic Zavada, who I think is the best kicker of the Big Ten, misses a 32-yard field goal. It was no good. I was stunned. This is 3 minutes before the half. So Michigan wastes a 12-play, 71-yard drive. Oklahoma gets the ball back. Michigan has a hands to the face penalty, personal foul. Meanwhile, Oklahoma is just dunking and dinking 5-10 yards here, moving the ball, moving forward. Deion Burks, 22 yards. Mateer had a 2-yard run, gets into the end zone for a touchdown. So Michigan misses the field goal on one end for 3 points. Oklahoma takes it back and gets 7 on the other end. That was a big flip right before the end of the half. And another long drive down Michigan's throat. 10 plays, 80 yards, just under 3 minutes to go. We go into the half. It's 14-0. This is the first time Michigan has been scoreless at the half of any game since 2020, a 59-game streak. And Michigan doesn't go scoreless. They did, though. So now, I'm sitting here thinking at halftime, I'm thinking John Mateer is really athletic. I'm thinking with the strength of Oklahoma in the trenches, and Michigan needs something. The good news was Jayshon Barham, the linebacker, remember, he was suspended for the first half because of the silly rule, because he was tossed out of the New Mexico game last week. He came in, and boy, they needed him. He got dinged up at the end of the game. Hopefully that's not serious. But Michigan, first play, second half, boom, 75-yard touchdown. Justice Haynes, who was just arguing with BRYCE Underwood in the second quarter, they must have made up at halftime. They look good. He gets the touchdown. Michigan's right back in this thing, 14-7, and got a little bit of momentum going. Then Oklahoma gets the ball, and the Michigan defense is fired up. They go to the 3 and out. There was a tipped pass. Everything's aggressive. It was looking like real Michigan defense, and Oklahoma has to punt. Then Michigan gets the ball back, and I'm thinking, all right, we need to see Underwood move a little bit, right? He does have running ability. He really hasn't done that yet in his 2 games. He rolled out. He overthrew his receiver on second down. They end up punting. It's a short punt. So Oklahoma gets the ball back. They take over the 50-yard line. Still a 1-score game, though. Mateer was almost picked up. Mateer was almost picked off a lot tonight. He'll throw some interceptions, but tonight just threw the one. Michigan got its hands on a lot of balls flying through the air there. So Mateer did find Isaiah Satanga, 35 yards down to the Michigan 14. That was the one we thought he got inside the 10, but they reviewed it. He stepped out of bounds. 1st and 10. Zeke Berry got hurt for the Wolverines. And then John Mateer runs in for a 10-yard touchdown. Boom. It's just like that. Oklahoma 21-7 over Michigan. Still 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, and maybe you are too, Michigan fans, listen, let's take the training wheels off Underwood. Let's let them run a little bit. Let's roll out a little more. They didn't. They got in trouble, but Oklahoma helped them out again. They muffed the punt. Cole Sullivan got the recovery. Cole Sullivan had a good game tonight. Remember, they had the roughing the punter earlier, and then they muffed the punt here. So Oklahoma's special teams is single-handedly keeping Michigan in the game here. So Michigan resumes this drive at the Oklahoma 31, but then they get stopped. 4th and 2. They don't go for it. They decide to kick a field goal. This time, Zavada hits the 42-yarder. And with 6.5 minutes to go, Michigan cuts it to 21-10. Later on, Michigan's next drive, there was the big shot to Donovan McCulley from Underwood. 33 yards on a 44-yard play down to the 33-yard line. And it made a great catch because he's 6'5", and he reached around the defender's helmet to bring the ball in. That drive ends up stalling a bit. They got to settle for another field goal, a 35-yarder from Savannah. We go to the fourth quarter, and Oklahoma up 21-13, but Michigan with the score momentum and a whole quarter here. And now Wink Martindale starts cranking up the blitzes, right? And ultimately, Oklahoma is starting to have some problems offensively. They have to settle for a 42-yard field goal. Tate Sandell, but he missed it. So now, really, Michigan. I thought this was the point where Michigan was going to take care of this thing, but they end up punting. Oklahoma's next drive, Michigan had stopped them, but then there was the face mask. So now it's 1st down inside the 10, and they get 4th and 2. They do a field goal. 21-yarder to add to the score. And then we had our final score here in this ball game, 24-13. All right. So again, credit to Oklahoma for out-toughing Michigan. And that's not to say Michigan was not tough here today, but Oklahoma out Michigan what Michigan used to do when they were in their prime. And we still look, I think, at Michigan's passing game. We got to develop something there. Running game looked good at times. At times it got stuffed. We got to put it together. Need some more there on that Michigan offense. Now, Underwood, there is some there, though. You can see it. This kid's going to be great. But that's my immediate reaction. I would like to get your reaction. The comments are lining up. Plus, we got 17 other teams to look at here around the Big Ten on a very busy day. We'll get your all reaction here on a live edition of Locked On Big Ten. Plenty more on this weekend coming up. I'll tell you about DoorDash, especially here on the weekend, man. They got a great deal for you. If you can get something delivered to you with DoorDash and put some streaks together every Saturday, it will pay off for you. They are fantastic, and they deliver in a big way. Like, I'm still thinking of the way that if you've seen some of the scores around the Big Ten, everybody delivered today. I think we had 4 teams score over 60. One scored over 70. Another one scored in the 50s. This is a big day. A lot of deliveries around the Big Ten here today. And just like all these high-scoring Big Ten teams delivered, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash streaks. You save every Saturday that you order. Stack them up. Streak them up week by week. And you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order every Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through November 18th. Mazda crafts cars for those who choose to do more than just simply move. They follow what moves them every single time you drive, right? Mazda stands out. They go beyond safety, style, and performance to deliver a driving experience that feels alive in every detail. Mazda offers more than safety. One It's won more 2025 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anybody else. It's the small details that make the big plays. And just like there's more to every player, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, we're continuing with our live edition here of Locked On Big Ten. I'm going to get to your comments in a minute, but let's rapid fire, get you caught up on what's going on around the league other than the Michigan loss at Oklahoma. Nebraska 68-0 over Akron. Dylan Raiola, 364 yards and 4 touchdowns in that one. USC, right before I came on the airwaves, was up 59-20. I think that was the final score. Jay Maeve, 4 touchdowns. Michigan State had just fallen behind in double overtime to Boston College. It was 40-34 right when I came on here. So it was a tough deal because I think Michigan State had the late lead in that game. Purdue 2-0. They beat Southern Illinois 34-17. How about that? Schedule gets pretty tough though with USC, Notre Dame, and Illinois the next 3. Devin Maccabee with 126 yards on the ground. And again, I don't think it was final when we came on the airwaves. UNLV was leading UCLA 23-13. Nico Imaleva with a touchdown. And just underway now, Washington hosting UC Davis. Meanwhile, other action on Saturday, the high-scoring action around the Big Ten. Penn State 34-0 over Florida International. We'll have more on this on our Monday podcast for sure, but I wanted to mention it here today. Slow start, some rain. Drew Aller, though, 19-33, 200 yards. He did have 2 touchdowns. Katron Allen, 144 yards on the ground, but Penn State gets the shutout. Duke and Illinois, number 11 Illinois on the road. They win at Duke against Manny Diaz's team, 45-19. Hank Beatty with another tremendous day. He had 1 rush for 25 yards, 8 catches for 128 yards. Remember last week he had 5 for 108, 69-yard punt return. He was amazing. Absolutely. What a great weapon Illinois has. Indiana. Some people were not happy with their 27-14 win over Old Dominion last week, so they poured it on Kennesaw State today, 56-9. Fernando Mendoza, 4 touchdown passes there. The Cyhawk goes down to the wire again. Late field goal by Iowa State. They beat Iowa 16-13. That was the game on Big Nude Fox today. Kirk Ferentz will have to wait. Still stuck on 205 wins before he passes Woody Hayes for the all-time Big Ten mark. And let's be real. Mark Gronowski he passed for 44 yards last week, passed for 83 today. They have a passing problem with the Iowa Hawkeyes. Minnesota, 66-0 over FCS Northwestern State. John Nestor, a pick 6 on the game's first offensive play at 2 interceptions on the day. Minnesota, 484 yards of offense. Ohio State putting the beat down on Grambling, 70-0. All 3 quarterbacks played. Julian Sayin had 4 touchdown passes, set an Ohio State record for completions to start a game with 16 straight. Finished 18 of 19, 306, all in the first half. They scored on 8 of their first 9 drives. Like I said, everybody, Lincoln Keenholz played. Tavian St. Clair played. Jeremiah Smith had 5 catches for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns, including an 87-yarder, and Caleb Downs had an interception. Oregon, they didn't get to 70 like Ohio State. They scored 69. 69-3 over Oklahoma State. Remember the back and forth? Mike Gundy complaining Oregon spends $40 million for its roster. It's not fair. Boo-hoo. I think it upset Dan Lanning, and he poured it on. The Ducks had back-to-back pick 6s on consecutive throws by Oklahoma State. Absolute drilling at Autzen. Rutgers, they scored 34 last week. They scored 45 today. 45-17 over Miami of Ohio. 79 points in 2 games, if my math is correct. Wisconsin beat Middle Tennessee State 42-10. Billy Edwards is out with the injury. Danny O'Neal played quarterback for 3 touchdown passes in his first start. This game was iffy for about 2.5 quarters. It was 14-10 in the third, and then Wisconsin poured it on. Friday night, Northwestern beat Western Illinois 42-7, and of course Maryland a 20-9 winner over Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois, the team that beat Notre Dame on the road last year. Malik Washington looking good. He was the freshman of the week this past week. He threw for 2 more touchdowns, including a 42-yard scoring strike on a 4th down play. 17 straight non-conference wins in a row for Maryland. That is the leading record right now in the NCAA. So that's what took place. Tons of comments here. Let's jump on it. Again, Michigan at Oklahoma. I thought they got out-toughed, and I don't mean that as a disparaging remark against Michigan. I was that impressed with Oklahoma. Already at the top, though, we got some Go Ducks here. Also, Jeffrey checking in. Same as usual, Michigan too conservative. Kirk Herbstreit mentioned that at one point in the broadcast, too. It's like, let's open it up a little bit. We got the most talented recruit. Let's see what Bryce Underwood can run. And he only really ran on one play. I think it was an 8-yarder there late in the second half. He can run. He should be more mobile. And I liked it when he rolled out. But I agree with you on that. Let's see. Looks like the pace was too fast for Michigan, according to Sanjay. Also, wide receivers are not able to get separation. You're right about that. Let's see here. David Portnoy. Is that the David Portnoy? If it is, hello. It says Oregon looks really good. Yes, they do. Jason Edwards. Oregon is a contender. Yes, they. I made this point in our podcast earlier this week that remember last year, the first 2.5 games, they weren't putting people away. That's what's different this year. Dante Moore, as opposed to Dylan Gabriel's offense, they are putting people away, blowing people out, putting a lot of points. Let's see here. The Red State Blues said Michigan drove and worked all night. Portnoy again. I feel sorry for Penn State when they play Oregon. Not sure what Michigan was afraid of. Either they don't trust their receiving core or their quarterback. That from Steven. It could be a little bit of both. That's a very good point. John says, go Big Red. Let's see. Douglas checking in. It is scary. A lot of you wanting to comment on Oregon here today. Jeff says, if this keeps up, Underwood and Haynes will leave. Mark my words. I don't think so. I don't see it. But first of all, Underwood's got $12.5 million of name, image, and likeness money. He's not going anywhere. More Ducks. Here's Don with Go Hoosiers. All right. Thomas checking in. Michigan only had 2 big plays, the 75-yard run and the miracle catch by their wide receiver. Yeah, you're right. More Oregon. If Oregon fans are infiltrating the Michigan postgame show, that's fine. This is a Big Ten show, actually. That's more than fine. Let's see. Here's some people that don't like Michigan. David Portnoy, Michigan will still beat Ohio State even. All right. Let's see here. More Oregon. Everybody's big on Oregon today. Where are the Michigan people? Coming off the Michigan loss at Oklahoma today. It's more the same. So Gregory says, LOL, you picked Michigan, so I took Oklahoma. Thanks. So you faded me. That's fine. I'm glad you won your wager. All right. Somebody said the Ducks punted too many times. Very disappointing. How many times could they have punted if they scored 69 points? I'll have to look at the box score on that. What do they do? Punt once? Oh, very interesting. Thomas, thank you. So Michigan State pulled it off. They beat Boston College in double overtime. Can we go official with that? All right. I'm going to double check that right now while we're live. Let's see. I got 40 to, I got to update my phone. 42-40. It's a final double overtime. Thank you for that tip. I appreciate that. All right. Coming up, we'll keep on going with the comments, and we're going to have your first look ahead to week 3. Interesting schedule around the Big Ten for week 3, in that not that interesting. It's probably, I'll tell you when we come back. I'll share it with you when we come back here on Locked On Big Ten. We talk about Upside. You have to get gas, right? I mean, you go to work every day, you're going to have to get gas, no matter what it costs. So here's how you can save some money with the Upside app. You download the app on the App Store or Google Play, and then you use my promo code for a limited time, the word football, and you get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. And you can make up to $300 a year just buying gas through this app. And here's the cool part. The cashback part comes any way you want, to your bank account, to PayPal, your e-gift card, Amazon, all your other brands. Again, use my promo code football for a limited time. Get 25 cents per gallon on the bonus. Again, with the promo code football. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. And you like watching games? They're all exciting. And of course, I'm going to watch some NFL football too. I'm going to have FanDuel at my side with the NFL season. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You can do parlays, point spreads, point totals, just about anything. Futures. Pick your Super Bowl winner right now. Do it. Do it at FanDuel. If you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. All right, thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Big Ten. We always appreciate you guys. And I'm going to tell you, if you check out our website, talkbig10.com, all of our podcasts go there. Plus, there are links for you to buy your favorite team merchandise throughout the Big Ten. Talkbig10.com. Michigan fans, you want to drown your sorrows in some new gear? Or, hey, Oregon fans, you're out there. Get some Oregon Duck jerseys and T-shirts there. Talkbig10.com. All right, let's take our first look at Week 3 in the Big Ten coming up. Starts on Friday. We got a couple games Friday night lights. Indiana State and Indiana. That's early, 6:30 on the Big Ten Network. We've got New Mexico at UCLA. That's the 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific game on the Big Ten Network. Again, Friday night. Now, Saturday, Oregon is at Northwestern. That's at 12 o'clock on Fox. That's the big noon Fox game. Central Michigan is at Michigan, 12 noon on the Big Ten Network. Wisconsin is at Alabama. Alabama rolled them last year at Camp Randall. I was watching the first half of Wisconsin today, and even though Alabama had a tough time last week, they bounced back today. Thought, they might get rolled again. But then again, I don't know. They finally got it going there in the second half. Houston Christian is at Nebraska at noon on FS1. Towson at Maryland for their annual affair at noon on Peacock. Villanova is at Penn State. That's the 3:30 game on FS1. USC travels to West Lafayette, taking on Purdue. 2-0 Purdue, I might add. 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on CBS and Paramount. Norfolk State is at Rutgers, 3:30 on the Big Ten Network. Youngstown State at Michigan State, fresh off of their double overtime win today over Boston College. 3:30 Eastern on the Big Ten Network. Ohio is at Ohio State, 7 p.m. on Peacock. Hey, Ohio State gets a night game. That's a big deal. It's on Peacock. Western Michigan at Illinois, 7 o'clock on FS1. Massachusetts at Iowa as Kirk Ferentz goes for win number 206, 7:30 on the Big Ten Network. And Minnesota is at Cal at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on the West Coast on ESPN. All right, let's take a peek at a couple more comments out the door here on our live broadcast. Thomas says Iowa has been inept on offense for years. Yeah, but they still win a lot of games. They didn't win today, though. All right. Let's see here. Stray Golden says, I was worried about the Illinois game. They didn't look good until the fourth quarter. Glad they got the dub. It also says everyone else is expected to win playing some cupcakes. Yeah. Thomas Burkett, Michigan forgot to steal Oklahoma signs tonight. You know, I'm going to be honest. I was sitting there watching. I had to comment because it seemed like the Oklahoma defense knew what was coming. They were that good tonight. And I did have the thought, and I smirked a little bit. I don't know if I believe it or not, but Brent Venables is a great coach and a great defensive coach. So he had them ready to go. But it was like they knew their plays. Right? Don says, Hoosier receivers were great today. Caught everything that came at them. Lane Rain said, Oklahoma State fans took it well. I think they expected what they got. Oh, and they got beat, 69-3 today? Exactly. And Ann says, yeah, the Ducks shut up Mike Gundy. Yes, they did. Although Gundy talks a lot. He'll talk again. Anyway, a lot of great texts today. Always appreciate having you guys on there as well. We go live. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't know which game we're going to go live after when it comes to next week. I haven't decided yet. So we'll find out, and I'll let you know. We're here every day. Check us out here at Locked On Big Ten, and we're going to have a big recap on Monday as well. So stay tuned for the latest every single day, and tell your friends that we're here every day. If you're new, because we're live here tonight, check us out. We would really, really appreciate that. And if you before you leave, hit that free subscribe button before you go. Share, follow, like the little share arrow. Hey, if you're a Big Ten fan, I know you know other Big Ten people that probably don't know we're out here every day. Hit that little share arrow and share and tell word of mouth that we're out here each and every day. And I also want to remind you that Locked On has a new show that they promote across the network. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12, along with AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, have our partnership with Fire TV. So you can check that as the college football kickoff. They do it every Thursday, and then you can watch it at your leisure. And college football preview only Locked On could do. Catch the college football kickoff every Thursday through the season only on Fire TV. Hey, don't forget, we also have audio podcasts of this very same video you may be watching on Spotify or Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. We make it easy for you. We cover all 18 teams, news, analysis, and opinion of that news. And we have the video on YouTube where we do the audio, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. We're everywhere. And we're glad you could join us. That's it for our live edition here, Saturday night into Sunday morning on Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman. We'll see you next time.